Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to the Yunus and Youth Demo Day. It's a pleasure to have you all here. Today, it's going to be a fun day, so thank you so much for joining us. My name is Marcela. I am the Program Director at Yunus and Youth. Yunus and Youth was founded in 2014 with the support of Professor Muhammad Yunus, with the goal of supporting and empowering young social business leaders working towards the achievement of the 17 SDGs, promoting economic advancement and reduce unemployment around the world. To date, we have trained over 8,000 young social business leaders, impacting 25 million people around the world in 67 countries. So for the past 5 weeks, these 7 Yunus and Youth Fellows have been joining this intensive training. They have worked on their pitch skills, on their presentation skills. They have learned about design and about storytelling. And it's with great pleasure that I say to you that this has been our first partnership with Goldman Sachs. We also had incredible Goldman Sachs mentors joining us and supporting this 7 Yunus and Youth Fellows to better prepare their presentations for you today. So today you will be hearing from Mohamed Kekalov from Azerbaijan, who will be presenting Kekalov Adaptive Fashion. Then we'll be hearing from Tanay Hagavendra from India, presenting Nostos Homes. Then we have Sara Rajabli from Azerbaijan as well, presenting Bhuta Arts and Sweets. Amanda Obidike from Nigeria, presenting Stemai Makers Africa. We also have Renato Martinez Cassinelli from Peru, presenting Higia Psychology. Tamara Chayo from Mexico, presenting Medu Protection. And finally, we have Ignacio Rodriguez from Venezuela, presenting Tepui. So one more time, I want to thank so much our Goldman Sachs mentors for working with our entrepreneurs for the past 5 weeks. It has been an immense pleasure to have them with us. And I'm sure the fellows are also very thankful for their support. And of course, we have some special guests today that I want to introduce to you. We have 2 judges that are joining us. So the first one is Daniel Blake, a Managing Director at University Impact. Dan, thank you so much for being here with us. It's always a pleasure having you. And also Manuel Costa, an executive from the Self-Help Credit Union. Thank you so much, Manu. I'm just incredibly excited to have you both here. Each entrepreneur will have 5 minutes to pitch. And after that, the judges will have around 10 minutes to ask them a few questions. And I'm happy to say that today we'll have 2 winners, because other than the person that the judges will be selecting, we'll also have a winner selected from the audience. So when we get to the final presenter, I'll open up a survey here on Zoom, and you'll be able to vote, choosing who you think gave the best pitch of the day. So I just want to say that I might be biased, but for me, they are all winners already. We have been working with them, not just for the past 5 weeks, but for many years. And I'm incredibly proud of how much they grew and they developed. So I already want to say congratulations to the 7 pitch finalists that we have today. And after the presentations, I'll tell you what prize the winners will be getting. So without further ado, I want to invite our first presenter of the day and just say to everybody, please enjoy the session, have a great experience. Good luck to all the presenters. Thanks, judges. Thank you, mentors, one more time. So first we have Mohamed Kekalov. Mohamed, please share your screen and start your presentation whenever you're ready.
Okay, hi.
Perfect.
Can you give me a quick confirmation that you can see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. I'm very happy to see everyone looking very fashionable today. And I have a question for everyone in this call. Sorry. Did you dress yourself this morning? I would imagine, like myself, most of you dressed up by yourself. Many of us don't think of it like a big deal, but not my grandmother. Because she had a disability, she always needed a helping hand. When I was a little boy, her difficulties would always strike me. Imagine trying to wear a shirt and realize that your head is through the sleeve, so you have to restart and do it again. And imagine you keep making the same mistake over and over again, but there's nothing you can do about it. Then I realized 65 million wheelchair users in the world experience similar things when dressing up. There is no adaptive clothing for them that takes into account they sit in a wheelchair all day long. The fashion industry doesn't accommodate them with their specific needs. At Kekalov, we solve this problem by creating clothing that is specifically designed to make it easy to dress up. We want to help wheelchair users dress better, look better, and feel better. Now, I'll show you a little secret, but you have to promise not to tell anyone. If you look really closely at these pictures, you can notice tiny details, some well-hidden buttons on this clothing. They run through arms or legs or shoulders or the sides, and they're just one detail that we change or add in clothing construction to make it adaptive. It's incredible how a tiny button can make a huge difference for the clothing. We do similar placements with zippers and Velcro as well. We make sure there is no screaming visual difference between our adaptive designs and the other piece of clothing that you can find at your nearest shopping mall. There are around 88,000 wheelchair users in Azerbaijan alone, and the adaptive clothing market is untapped and growing. In 2019, online search inquiries for adaptive clothing increased by 80%, and this market is going to be worth 325 million USD by 2022. The point of adaptive clothing is to make it easy to dress up. So how it functions is extremely important for the users. Because of our extensive user interviews and fit testings, we provide an excellent level of functionality for the consumers. Our main differentiator is also not just functionality, but also the affordability of our clothing. We're able to sell our clothing cheaper than our global competition because we don't charge anything for the fact that these are adaptive clothing with special constructions. Our mission is to make this adaptive clothing accessible for everyone. We use the highest quality labor and materials available in Azerbaijan, which is many times cheaper than the world average, which allows us such pricing. This year, we celebrated our second birthday with a fully developed product line and a few satisfied customers. As we continue our learning and development and work on our second line of adaptive fashion collection, we want to relocate to Germany and work in the German market. We already hired a business consultant based in Berlin who will work with us during this process. Why Germany? The number of obtainable market in Germany is almost equal to the entire population of Azerbaijan, and they have 64 million euros every year that they spend on fashion alone. And also there is no adaptive fashion brands in Germany. We will be the first ones in the market like we are in Azerbaijan. There are 8 million people with severe disabilities in Germany who need adaptive clothing. We think that during our first year, we'll have the challenges trying to adapt to German culture and business. So we'll be able to sell a minimum of 1,500 products. And considering an average Kekalov clothing costs 40 euros, we will be able to generate 60,000 euros in revenues and 35,000 euros in profits. We will use the investment for mass producing our fashion line and our marketing efforts in Germany. We reach our customers by being active on social media via groups and pages that connect our target audience and driving them to our online store. And we also reach our customers by organizing and supporting disability rights campaigns and events online. Our products save people like my grandmother time and energy. Our brand changes the way people think about disability and fashion because of the campaigns we do on our platform. And we give persons with disabilities a voice in a place that doesn't often see them, like the fashion industry. We're also committed to responsible and ethical production and follow environment-friendly product and supply lines. Here's the team behind our brand. We've been working together for more than 2 years now. We're all very young and passionate about our job. We're very determined to help persons with disabilities dress better, look better, and feel better. We have a goal to mass produce our clothing line by next year, and we're looking for investments to finance the production. Support us in this goal and join us on this journey. We've been Kekalov and we challenge the status quo. I'm ready if you have any questions.
Thank you, Mohammed. Timing was perfect. Great presentation. Now I open the floor to Dan and Manu to ask any questions that you might have.
Yeah, I can kick us off. I'm curious about your gross margin. So given that you're competing on price point, what does that do to your gross margin compared to your competitors?
Oh, can you explain what gross margin means?
Yeah, so for every product that you're selling for 40 euros, how much money are you making? What's your cost of producing that product? And how does that compare to the competition that's selling for 80 euros?
Oh, okay. So for 40 euro pants, it's somewhere between 15 to 20 euros. It will be with mass production. So
Great,
we do
thank you.
so 20 euros and we sell it for 40.
Thanks, Mohammed, and congrats on the presentation. I think it was superb as well. Can you explain a bit more the connection between Azerbaijan and Germany? I think from what I understood, it's a market that's particularly attractive, I think, from a size perspective, but international sort of operation already to begin with. And I am assuming I've never been to Azerbaijan or Germany, but I've been to a few countries, and cultural differences, operations in international countries, it's pretty tough, particularly for a startup. So can you share a bit of how you envision that will be? Where's the connection beyond the scale in the market, as I understand it, and the sort of niche opportunity, and what sets you up for success in that country to begin an operation already internationally?
Yes, well, there is no, as you said, cultural connection between Azerbaijan and Germany, and they're a little bit far on the map, but we have good business connections in Germany. As I said, we have a consultant there, and we're also a member of the German Azerbaijani Chamber of Commerce that can help us with all the legal and financial and other kind of stuff that we might have problems in Germany with. So that's why we need to get out of Azerbaijan, where we don't really have a lot of customers, and Germany is like the next best place that we can go.
I don't know if Marcela, can we do a quick follow-up?
Yes, sure.
Thanks for that. And yeah, so sort of like quick feedback. I would, I think the Chamber of Commerce is great, that kind of thing, and I'm assuming there's other documents to your presentation as per usual and that kind of thing, but I would have that sort of that path, that go-to market to be sort of like watertight. And by watertight, I mean, it from mass production to like making something a sale, like the channels, the logistics, the timings, the amount of capital that has to be mobilized abroad to be selling 15,000, I think you said, or 1,500 items, has to be very clear. And sort of the other question that I had in mind was, do you plan to have any sort of like, or look for any sort of certification around the supply chain? I think you mentioned you want to be sustainable and responsible. Do you plan on sort of ascribing to any sort of certification that can, certify that aspect of the production?
Well, we haven't looked into that yet, but definitely we should. We need to do a little bit more research for that.
I definitely recommend having a look at B certification, and then of course anything around fair trade, and some other sort of like minimums in terms of what, so by fair trade, I think would be good parameters to give you some standards. But I definitely think that's also an important point when you think about sort of the affordability aspect. I think Daniel was referring to that, that remaining so as a standout characteristic, and then keeping the supply chain responsible. But yeah, that's it from my end. Thanks and congratulations again as well.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Dan, do you still have any questions for him? We have a few minutes left.
No more questions. One additional comment. You talk about your biggest advantage is the price point, which is compelling. Your 40 euros versus the 80 euros for the competition. But to win in the long term on price, you need to have a reason why you can manufacture your unit for less than the competition. Otherwise, the competition is just always going to have more money to spend on marketing, on sales reps, on building a larger team. And so the other thing that I would encourage you to look at is, if you're going to sell your product for half as much as the competition, realistically, you should probably be able to manufacture your product for half as much or around there as the competition. And so what are you doing that's bringing that manufacturing cost down? Is it the materials that you're using? Is it the relationship with the manufacturer? But there should be something there to really secure that competitive advantage. Otherwise, as an investor, I'm going to look at that and say, in the long term, it's going to be really difficult for you to maintain that 40 euro price point.
Okay. In Azerbaijan, right now it's cheaper to do it because many other brands are based in Western countries. So we can do it here for good quality materials and good quality clothing, but for cheaper, because that's the standard.
No, that's great.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Great, thank you. I think we're off to a great start. Thank you so much for the judges, and thank you, Mohammed. Next, we have Tanay presenting Nostos Homes.
Hello,
Hello, Tanay.
I'll just share my screen. One second. Do let me know if my screen is visible.
We can see your screen.
Great. Arunesh dreams of being able to go back home one day. He dreams that one day he will meet his school friends again. He dreams that he will be able to sleep without being afraid. Arunesh is just 12 years old. The life Arunesh dreams of going back to is not a fancy one. It is simple by all stretches of imagination. His parents worked in a local warehouse. He went to a local government school along with his sisters. Every evening, he would go out to the street with his sisters and play cricket. A wooden plank would become a bat, and anything circular, a ball. Nothing was fancy. They would come back home and sleep on the same bed every night, with water dripping from one corner of the room and a fan that had not worked for years. It is not a perfect life, but it is a life Arunesh knows and loves. It is a community that feeds off each other's energy and makes everyone feel safe. In this life, Arunesh does not need to care about where he will sleep the next day or if he will have enough food to eat. This life allowed Arunesh to remain a kid, and now he's been forced to grow up. Arunesh has had the same dream for 2 years. His village was hit by Cyclone Fani in April of 2019. Houses, shops, schools, everything Arunesh knew was destroyed. He still remembers the day when his dad frantically woke him up, how they took whatever little they could find and evacuated their homes. They were forced to walk more than 30 kilometers to reach high ground. And there they were provided just a sheet of tarp and 4 bamboos. Just a sheet of tarp to reorganize and rebuild a life that they have lost in a matter of seconds. Arunesh's parents have not been able to find a job. They're exploited daily. They're forced to work on below minimum wages out of desperation. They have not slept properly in 2 years. Arunesh's uncle is suffering from cholera due to a lack of clean water. Every day, Arunesh's parents visit him. Every day they fear they might not see him tomorrow. Every day they think, what if this happened to them? Arunesh has not been in a school for more than 2 years. His parents try every single day to find a local free school that would have the space to accept just one more student. They know that if they cannot find a school for Arunesh soon, he will be exploited like they are. They had dreams that Arunesh would become a doctor, but these dreams seem far from reality now. More than anything, Arunesh's family wishes that they were not living in a tent, but a place they could call home. The effects of forcible displacement cut deep. It takes on average 17 to 19 years to recuperate from the aftermath of a violent conflict alone. To add to this, people are forced to live in extremely makeshift shelters that are no more than canvas and tarp. They are forced to live in these shelters for as long as 5 years because they have nowhere else to go. And this problem is far bigger than any of us can imagine. 86.5 million people are forcibly displaced from their homes every year. And so we're building Nostos. Nostos is a first of its kind temporary shelter specifically designed to house people immediately after a disaster and give them home for in the immediate term. A key principle that guided us as we designed Nostos homes was that we wanted to build homes and not just shelters. We built Nostos to go beyond just providing a roof over one's head, but to actually help create a community and a sense of psychological safety. We hope that these homes can act as a mechanism to help restore privacy, personal dignity, and safety in times of crisis. We want Arunesh to sleep properly. We want him to go to Nostos schools. We want his parents to get treatment in our modular medical center. We want them to return to jobs in the community our houses have built. And so we have pioneered the concept of delivering the whole package. This includes living spaces, sanitation access, and everything else needed to get someone the foundation to live a good life. All of this is folded into a small, easy to ship and easy to deploy module, as you can see in the video. Our flexible design allows us to take into account local context while manufacturing these shelters. That way these homes can be customized, expanded, or reoriented as per the needs of local communities. Our house can also be repurposed to create medical centers, schools, and community spaces. Once a particular deployment is over, these houses are packed up again and shipped to the next deployment. When you contribute $1 towards Nostos homes for Arunesh, you don't just give him and his family 4 walls to live in. You increase the chances of Arunesh's parents getting a good job. You help Arunesh go to school and become a doctor. Ensure his sisters have any future they want for themselves. You protect Arunesh's family. You keep them safe and secure. Each dollar you give to build a Nostos homes provides $15 worth of impact to families such as Arunesh's. Nostos has received philanthropic support from corporations like Goldman Sachs and MasterCard. And we have also wonderful tech and strategic support through the expertise of organizations like the World Bank, IFC, and the Citibank. We are a completely volunteer-run organization with deep expertise across various sectors like technology, architecture, venture capital, operations, and are working at top companies like Google, MasterCard, Abbott, and Charate Ventures. We're very excited that over the next few months, Madi in India will become the first village to receive a Nostos community, thanks to our amazing group of philanthropic partners. So our ask today is simple. We're asking for a philanthropic grant of $150,000 to build homes in Nagaland, a particularly remote and underserved part of India, situated close to the border of Myanmar. Your donation to Nostos Homes will provide 1.64 million people night shelters to those who have lost everything. With your support, these Nostos Homes will help facilitate 75,000 extra days of education to children like Arunesh and enable over 150,000 additional days of employment to Arunesh's parents and other displaced people. Improve safety, sanitation, and hygiene expect to reduce incidences of disease and injuries by 45%. Put together, every dollar you donate leads to $15 of on-ground impact for displaced communities. So your $150,000 grant translates into roughly $2.25 million of work in social impact. Your philanthropic support and partnership would give families like Arunesh's a chance for a safer and a better life. Thank you so much for joining us and listening to our idea. Now we are open to questions.
Thank you, Tanay. Great presentation. You went over time, but it's okay. We still have some time for Q&A. So Manu, and then the floor is yours.
Thank you, and Tanay, congratulations. A quick sort of heads up. This is my area of expertise. I've spent about 10 years in emergency housing in Latin America. And so I'm going to say I'm going to be quite deeply as critical as I can because I have some expertise. One of the few times I'll have some expertise around something. But first, congratulations. I think from a identification of problem housing in general, shelter, emergency, enormous, absolutely. But I will say, as a quick feedback, I think you spent about 2.5 minutes, if not more, on an introduction. You lost a lot of time. Thankfully, you were allowed to give some more time. And I didn't hear a lot of things that I would want to hear from a pitch. Cost structure. You mentioned something along the lines of it being first of its kind. If you say a statement like that, you've got to back it up with why. Why is it first of its kind? I'm quite knowledgeable on this topic. I've seen very similar things, and I haven't been around that much. But those things have to be there in my mind in the presentation. And then to me, the biggest thing is you refer to shelter, you refer to home, but then these are two very different things. One is an emergency housing to solve for a specific catastrophe for a solution. Another thing is, and another market is housing, home affordability for the long run. I would definitely want to see that difference in that presentation. And which one are you trying to solve? Because they have very different connotations, very different cost structures, very different timeframes. And so in the future, I want to hear which one are you solving for? And if you're solving for both, then I would want to see a lot more information and a lot more nuance as to how this is unique, if that's the case, in it being a shelter and a long-term solution. But I'll be wary of that. I know that they have very different differences. So maybe that would be a question. Like if I had to ask one question, sorry, there's a lot of commenting. The question is this for shelter emergency or is this for housing affordability long-term?
So if we look at a disaster cycle in sort of 3 areas, the rescue operations in the early days, which are done by the army or those organizations where people are saved in life, and then the relief that is provided, and then the rehabilitation, we sort of see Nostos homes fitting into both relief and rehabilitation. The life cycle of one house is around 15 years. So like it can stay on a particular deployment site for a long time. We ideally want these people, like till the time they don't have a permanent housing colony to go back to, they can stay in these houses. The communities can be built using our houses, and they can sort of thrive in that time period. Because our founder Kaushal is from Madhya village, and the research that he did on the annual flooding that happens in that village was that while it is said on paper that people live in these carts and tents for 2 months, it actually extends to 2 years. Periods of time. So we want Nostos homes to come into that picture and like sort of solve these problems that exist.
No questions from me. One suggestion. So this is not my area of expertise, but recognizing that, most investors will approach this without a deep set of expertise. But when you spend so much time on, and I'm going to sound very cynical, on guilting me into believing that the problem is a problem, it is going to it turns myself off, and I think it's going to turn most investors off. I can very quickly understand that when there's an emergency and somebody loses their house, that's a problem. Instead of the 2.5 minutes, you probably need to spend 5 seconds on it. Like that's something that very easily, just as like a fellow human being, that I can say, yeah, that's a big problem. I totally get it. But then I want to understand, why is it a problem? Where is the funding coming from? Why are they sleeping on a tarp? Why aren't other solutions existing? I want to understand the technical aspects, not the emotional aspects of the problem, but the technical aspects, so that then, because I'm not an expert, I can then look at your solution and say, does your solution solve the technical aspects of the problem? And to be totally candid, I have no idea. And because this isn't my area of expertise, I'm going to say I'm not going to participate, because you've given me nothing to actually evaluate whether or not your solution solves the underlying issues of why people can't get housing after an emergency.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. We'll work on it in the next pitch.
Thank you so much for the judges. Thank you, Tanay, for your presentation. Well, next we have Sarah with Buta Arts and Sweets.
Hi to everyone, and do you see my screen?
Yes.
Hi to everyone, my name is Sarah Rechabli. I'm joining you from Azerbaijan, and 4 years ago when I established Buddha Art and Sweets, I couldn't even imagine that I will see the pictures of these beautiful designed sweets, vegan sweets, prepared by women with special needs. And I would like to start with the story of Yunai Mammadova, who lost her eyesight in the last 8 years. And in order to survive this dark reality, she started to learn new skills, baking skills and entrepreneurship skills. She wanted to become an entrepreneur. She started to learn to cook more than 20 types of vegan sweets, which is completely new product type for Azerbaijani market. And she became the first theater actress, visual impaired theater actress, and also the first visual impaired master of confectionery, officially recognized by the local Minister of Education in Azerbaijan. And we are proud of our results of Buddha Art and Sweets, which is focusing on two problems at the same time. The first problem is unemployment problem of women with special needs, locally and globally. According to the statistics of the United Nations, 75% of women with mental and physical disabilities are unemployed. And the second problem, which is also one of the most important problems globally, is the climate change as a result of animal rights abuse and misuse of animal products. And according to the report of Stanford University, the livestock industry generates more than 15% of global greenhouse gas emissions. And our unique solution consists of preparing handmade, always fresh, vegan and cruelty-free sweets for local customers, and in the future for global ones, and for providing additional opportunities for education and income for marginalized women. Our market size consists of total number of vegans and vegetarians and all people, individuals and families sensitive to environment and vegan philosophy. The second direction is all about companies, institutions, and organizations with corporate social responsibility strategies sensitive to environment and climate change as well. And the third one, we are focusing on beneficiaries of women with mental and physical disabilities in Azerbaijan. While we have been researching the main customer pains, we have been researching that there have been very limited choices for vegan food products, lack of customized services in local markets, and extremely expensive prices just because of imported sweets from different countries. And while we have been producing these handmade vegan cruelty-free sweets, we have been researching needs of local markets, and our competitive advantage is consisted of being the first in Azerbaijan about producing the handmade, fresh, cruelty-free sweets, and also being focusing on completely new customer segment and providing sustainable positive impact for women with mental and physical disabilities. And during COVID crisis, we explored that the food sector is more resistant to any crises, and we have been really very lucky to support our women in our team members. So when we have been presenting our financial side, just to focus that we are making minimum more than $300,000 per year, and we are using this profit for 5 directions. The first, the most important direction is providing opportunities, income opportunities for the women with mental and physical disabilities. The second one is for our operational team, 20%. Also, the third direction is the marketing and educational programs. We are providing always long-lasting free educational programs for our women in order to teach them to bake the sweets. And of course, during COVID crisis, we realized the importance of creating reserve fund in order to address the challenges we will experience during critical situations. Our revenue model is focusing on 3 directions. The first one is B2B. We are selling directly to companies. We are using this model for being stable. We are using online direct sales for scaling to new customer segments for new individuals and families. And we are also using premium model in order to research the needs of new customer segments and also to learn a lot about the needs of corporations and institutions as well. So we are very proud with our results, and we couldn't even imagine that in a short time we will achieve so many results. So one of the biggest achievements we have been doing during our social entrepreneurship journey, it has been about changing the mindset of more than 50,000 of local about the skills and talents of women specialists who are preparing these handmade vegan food products. And in the future years, we are aiming to scale globally. We are aiming to have this sustainable positive impact on a minimum 500 women with special needs in 20 countries. And we are trying to achieve these ambitious goals by using the necessary investment on mainly 3 directions: for salaries for our women, for buying facilities in order to reinvest in the scaling of our social enterprise, and of course in investing in marketing and sales in order to have the stable sales scaling. And we are here with different backgrounds, with different skills, with unified missions to support disability rights and also women empowerment in order to create the hundreds of stories like nice ones who prove that there is no limits in human creativity to produce and to create cruelty-free products without harming, without having any negative impact on the environment. We are very proud with our team members who are dedicating their time, their energy in order to change the stereotypes in the minds of local people. Thank you so much for your attention. We are very open for any questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sara. Congratulations on the presentation.
Thank
Manu,
you.
Dan, please go ahead.
Thanks for that, and also congratulations. Wow, so trying to wrap my head around like sort of well, like the first question or the question to go, but again, I think a fairly sort of quick feedback from my end. I think a very clear market and value proposition on many fronts. I think food in particular tends to be sort of, you don't need to talk about, I think the size of the market is huge. We have to eat every day, but there's a lot of players. And so with that is, the margins and the cost structure, I would try and see how it can go a bit, that distribution we had, like where the cost structure goes and the unit economics of things. Try to have that a bit more nuanced or a bit, I don't find that's clear. But I think my biggest question is around, in your ask, when you talk about like 60,000 that you need, did you mention, sorry, the first question is, did you mention the use of funds would be for facilities?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And if that's the case, that's like a very hard use of cash, which is great because you want to have a very clear use of funds when you ask for money. But then in my mind, you have to immediately follow it. And this will be my question. Why is that the best use of funds? And how can that set you up for scale, traction, revenue, and that allow you to be able to make that investment, truly worth someone's while from a traction revenue perspective and from an impact perspective, which is clear here. But I would want to see that. I would ask you, like, why is that the best use of funds, and how can that set you up from a unit economics perspective to scale?
Okay. Thank you so much, actually, for your feedback and for this question. Actually, for every year, we are making the revenues for more than 50%, like it has the increase for more than 50%. We are working constantly with corporations, with institutions, and we are also expanding our markets for individuals and also for families. During COVID crisis, we saw that only working with corporations, with companies, it's not always so sustainable because the companies can be closed during crisis situations. So we have been working with different customer segments in order to provide stability. But about this investment, to answer these questions, we are using the most of these funds for marketing expenses and for facilities in order to produce new kinds of sweets, which can be all done with the new facilities, with the new technologies, which cannot be found yet in Azerbaijan. And we want to produce the new types of sweets in the local market in order to be innovative and unique among our all competitors. Yeah.
I have a follow-up question to that. I think the solution is very meaningful, working with these women that have disabilities. I think that's incredibly compelling. The vegan aspect doesn't seem to tie in as well. And so if you found that you could sell non-vegan sweets at a higher rate, higher price point to a larger market, in theory, that would help you employ more women with disabilities. And so why narrow your market to the vegan market when it seems like you could have access to a larger market that would then help you employ more women?
Thank you so much for such an important question. Especially this decision has been strengthened in our minds during COVID crisis. After having the symptoms of COVID viruses among our local peoples, we saw the higher demand for vegan products when the people, they couldn't actually consume the animal-based products. So that's why we have been deciding to produce more plant-based products, because we are also focusing on two problems. The first one has been unemployment problem of local women especially. The second one, it was about the climate change, which has been resulting by the misusing of animal products. So we have been using this solution in order to address these two problems at the same time. We are using this vegan ones in order to prove to people that without harming to environment, without harming the animal rights, it's also possible to create the high quality products with the same taste, actually, because there are so many alternatives of ingredients also in Azerbaijan, also from different countries. By using them in the right direction with the right strategy, we can also attract new customers as well, as we are doing right now for our business model.
No, thank you for that. One suggestion, and this would be for all of the entrepreneurs. Startups are incredibly hard, and solving one problem, candidly, most people fail solving one problem. Most startups don't work. And so you need to have a really, really good reason on why a startup, when everything's stacked against it, can tackle two problems. And maybe eventually when it gets some scale, it can tackle two problems. But I would always encourage entrepreneurs, especially in the beginning, to pick a single problem and be hyper focused on just that problem. Because what you just described, those two problems are competing against each other. And so you're not able to optimize to solve one problem in the most efficient way.
Yeah.
And sorry if I can add to that, to Daniel's point, I think it's superb. Also, I was thinking of that from an audience and target market, but so not the word is target market, but you refer to like B2B and I think online or your platform.
Yes.
And that's great because of course you want to, sure, you want to open your channels, you don't want to cap yourself. But again, from Dan's perspective and point, when you start up, there's a very different set of expertise. B2B and B2C are completely different business models from a delivery perspective. They'll be the same product, but quantities, marketing, expertise will be completely different from a sales perspective. And I would want to see, we'll focus on this, we'll get traction, and then yes, we'll open the floodgates to the rest. But again, I think that's a great suggestion from Dan in general, as like for a startup, I want to like get traction in a very specific place, then sure, go to all over the world and to every market and every channel, that kind of thing. But I would also suggest that from a sequence perspective.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for your feedbacks. It was very useful to get your feedback. Thank you.
Fantastic. Wow, I'm just impressed with our judges today. They're on fire. This is like a university lesson. Thank you so much. This is already a great experience for me. Imagine for the fellows. Thank you so much. Next, we have Amanda from Nigeria. We can see your screen, Amanda, but we can't hear you yet.
Yes. Good afternoon. Yes, my name is Amanda Obidike, and I'm from Lagos, Nigeria. I'm representing STEMI Makers Africa. STEMI is an acronym for Science, Technology, Engineering, Mathematics, and Innovation. So today I'll be talking about building a competent STEM workforce by equipping educators. Now, let me tell you a story about Mr. Larry. Mr. Larry Ebenezer happened to be our recipient from our first STEM educator training we had in collaboration with the US Consulate in 2019. Good enough, Mr. Larry is going for a teachers exchange program in the USA, which is he's the first educator that has actually had this experience through the STEMI Makers Africa. STEMI Makers Africa is actually addressing the leaky unemployment pipeline by equipping educators in integrating practical learning tools where students can collaborate using STEM and effectively transition from education to employment. Now, our unique model is offering an
Amanda, I think we're facing some,
Africa.
I think the internet is a bit unstable.
I also approach.
Yeah.
A lot of times our curriculum are not really naturally based or teacher-centered, especially in Nigeria and Africa at large. We are designing a curriculum where educators can
I think we lost Amanda. I'm so sorry about that. What we can do is that we can move on to Renato, and then when Amanda is back, we can get back to her presentation. Renato, are you there?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, so once Amanda's back, we'll get back to her.
Can we see the
Yes.
slides? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Hello.
Sorry about that.
I'm Renato. I'm from Peru, and I would like to talk to you today to how at Tegia we are trying to democratize mental health services in Latam. Do you know that 1 of each 4 persons around the world suffer day-to-day a mental health disorder? In countries like Peru, this problem is bigger. 66% of Peruvians struggle with stress in their daily lives. They not only also impact their life, this also impacts their families and their productivity. However, and given COVID, access to services of good quality is not easily accessible because you have specialists mainly in urban zones, and vulnerable people like Juana doesn't have access nor the money to afford a paid consultation. I was lucky enough to go to 3 of them, but in all of this process, I faced personally all the barriers a person have to surpass to access and book a consultation of quality. Taboos, prejudices, geographical distances in pre-COVID areas, the lack of connection with specialists. If you don't pass all of these barriers, the end result can be a tragical one, like a suicide. But all has a solution in lives. For that reason, and with the meaning to surpass all of these barriers, we create Tegia. It is a mental health social platform which operates as an hybrid model, in which side we provide to persons seeking help best-in-class therapy on an internet basis, and also we provide free consultations for people in need for free. We create a secure and reliable online platform where certified experts are matched with persons seeking help and can take their therapy. And with part of the revenue we generate, we provide free consultations in vulnerable zones. We are in an industry with strong growth potential. It's expected that telemedicine growth nearly 20% on a year-over-year basis, with a total estimated market of $20 billion. Our business model is simple and transparent. We just charge per each consultation a margin of 50 to 20% to the specialist, with zero cost to the patients and to the people also in vulnerable zones. We have created an integral and end-to-end solution for the Latin market. We not only provide therapy, we provide counseling, psychiatric group spaces. We have an intelligent matching algorithm and also social impact for the region. This has led us to help more than 1,000 people in Latam, and also grow nearly 30% month over month, and help also more than 600 beneficiaries for free in rural zones in Lima, like Carapongo and Manchay. Our business model is not only B2C, we also have a B2B business model in which we work with startups and corporates to provide sessions to the clients or team members. And also, we have partnered with different NGOs, which we give to the target communities free consultations. Our team is committed to improve and humanize mental health services. My co-founder, Giovanni, has more than 15 years of experience in psychiatry and medicine, and our team has total combined experience of 40 years of total experience. We want to democratize and collaborate in the eradication of taboos and stigmas around mental health and emotions. For that reason, we are trying to impact more than 300 beneficiaries till December of 2021 and reach 1K monthly paid sessions at the end of the year. We want to internationalize next year, and for that reason, we're asking $50K to build a strong team and also client acquisition in Berkeley. Thanks.
Thank you, Renato. Great presentation. Now I give the floor to Mano and Dan.
Yeah, I have one quick, just clarifying question. And before I jump into that, good job on the presentation. Can you walk me through how much does it cost an individual to use the app? How much are they paying? Is it on a weekly, monthly, kind of per service basis? And then how much does the service provider normally make? And if I understood the slide correctly, you are taking 15 to 20% from the service provider.
We are paying like on average to a specialist for 6 to 7 hours of job on a week, $1K per week. Like they can get $4K on a month. And the therapy can cost, well, exchange rates in Peru are a bit crazy these days, but are from $15 to $40 each session.
Okay, so my question is, I'm convinced that the problem exists that people outside of urban centers have a difficult time getting in and seeing a therapist. But if a therapist, and I guess I'm still a little bit confused here, if a therapist is going to be making less money working with your app, do therapists then struggle getting patients? Otherwise, if a therapist can book out all of their appointments without your app, why would they work with your app if they're making less money per session?
They are also gaining additional money. They may have a work from 8 to 5, and they can also have sessions from 5 to 10. The problem they face is that they don't want to have all these administrative processes, from billing to paying to collectibles, to have to manage their schedules. So we provide them this platform where they can book just entry their schedules, and people can book the sessions and pay it, and also receive material they can send, just dropping as a Google Drive. We send them automatically. We reduce all of this administrative stuff for them.
So that's actually really compelling. What's interesting is you are actually solving a different problem than what you outlined in your presentation. You're solving potentially a very compelling problem for the therapist. And so I interesting and very compelling, I would just encourage you to put that in the presentation. Your actual customer, the person that you're making money off of, is the therapist. And so I would focus on what is the problem that you are solving for them.
Okay, good point.
Renato, muchas gracias and congrats. My question is around, and I think Dan was on point on a fair few things. He had some, I have to think of a different question, but I think I'm gonna try and go on the other side, which is like the customer acquisition part of things, which is like, to me, this is a very clear problem personally, but correct me if I'm wrong, and this is definitely not my area of expertise, it's just my area of suffering. But recognizing the problem, to tell yourself that I need help, to pursue it, to go for the app, like, so is there, I wrote, like, what's your secret sauce from a customer acquisition perspective? How would you expect customers to come across your app and choose that? One, to acknowledge that they have an issue, a mental health issue, and two, that they would choose you, because those to me are two very relevant hurdles in order to get the traction and that market that you recognize as a potential market. Does that make sense?
Yes, totally. We have discovered that there are like different steps for a person to say, hey, to create this awareness. Hey, I am maybe not the one who is facing this. We have in terms of marketing, a content marketing strategy, and the secret sauce is the matching algorithm we have, which creates higher NPS. We have an NPS of 9.2 over 10. And also this creates a referral incentive because people love the specialist who has matched, and they refer us. Like each user, for 10 users, we have 5 referrals.
Sorry, and quick question on that, is there a referral fee for someone that refers them to you? No.
Yeah, we have both sides 35% of discount for next session.
Interesting. Okay. And then perhaps, I don't know if you have time, Marcela, but the other, I had just two more comments. One is a very personal one. I, as an investor, I do not appreciate the use of democratizing for something that is a business model. Democratizing in my world is universal access to something. This is a charged business. I will be very careful when I refer to democratizing something that's a service that's paid for. This is definitely looking to increase access and sort of make it more accessible. But democratizing in my book, is a very personal comment, it's something really different. And it just rubs me the wrong way when I see something like that. And then there's a charge, particularly when something that's app-based, when we know perfectly well that even though a lot of people have mobile phones these days, not everyone has them. And so that to me just, sets me up for just understanding that someone doesn't quite understand what universal access means and what that can provide. So I just be very careful with that. Again, it's a very personal sort of like point. I'm just a bit, I don't know, it just makes my skin a bit crawl, but take it from, o sea, tomarlo como de quien viene. But again, I would just like revise that language a bit. And so the last comment I would say is, it looked to me that you already had some traction and that you already like have clear use of funds. That's great. Include a bit more of that. Like if you already have something that's specifically like working, the MVP, the sort of like the monthly traction, include that to the top. Because I already can see, I think Dan was going to that, like the model in that sense can be very compelling. If you already have a profitable-ish business, then you're done. You know exactly where to put money in to get traction. That's enormous. But again, sorry for the personal comment, but that's very much my own personal view.
Thanks so much. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Renato and the judges. Great job. Next, we are going to try Amanda again. I see you're back, Amanda. Let's give it another try. I hope your internet's better now.
Yes, thank you so much, Marcela. I will share my screen now.
Perfect. Now I can hear you very clearly.
So yes, apologies for the network glitch. My name is Amanda Obidike, and I'm representing STEMI Makers Africa. STEMI is an acronym for Science, Technology, Engineering. Here we are actually building a competent STEM workforce where we train educators, provide them resource tools, and offer them a practical learning platform where they can ensure that students can transition from education to employment. So this is the problem that we're solving. This educator is actually called Mr. Lanre Ebenezer. Mr. Lanre actually was a recipient of the STEM integration training for educators, where we collaborated and partnered with the US Consulate in 2019. Today, Mr. Lanre is fortunate enough to be awarded a teacher exchange program to the USA due to the work that we did in impacting his school and his local.
Yeah, we lost Amanda again. Amanda, I'm so sorry for this. When we tested, everything went well. We could hear her. I'm so sorry about this. Do you want to try without the slides? Maybe one last try?
I'm sorry, can I try again? I don't know why my network keeps kicking me out.
Maybe if you try without the slides, just the audio, so we can just hear you, maybe that might work.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Let's try this way. Okay. So I would quickly start again. Apologies once again. So STEMI, like I said, is an acronym for Science, Technology, Engineering, Mathematics, and Innovation. So we're building a competent STEM workforce by equipping educators, giving them the right resource tools to ensure that they can mentor their students and ensure that these students can transition effectively from education to employment. I wanted to share the story of Mr. Lanre Ebenezer, who happened to be our first recipient of our educator training, where we collaborated and partnered with the US Consulate. Today, Mr. Lanre has been awarded a teacher exchange program to the USA to go and study, to go and also develop himself and all. He has also alongside set up STEM club in his school and has hosted a STEMite tournament. Now, our unique model is actually offering an Africa by us for us approach where educators are inclusive because we know that they contribute enormously to the economic cycle. The economic validation of our work shows that STEM educators, the demand for STEM educators went up in 2019 by 78%. STEM education today also contributes to $169 billion in our economic output by 2023. Finally, 96% of jobs have become automated, where it has also ensured that 400 million students will be launched into the market by 2035. Today, we have key partners and players like the US Consulates, the IBM, Google, General Electric, who has offered us quality resource tools to ensure that we are adequately equipping these educators in underserved communities. Now, our business model approach, we have a business called STEM Integration and Development Training for Educators. These are for educators in secondary schools and universities, where we partner with these esteemed organizations and provide them these resource tools. We have also started the sales of STEM Arduino toolkits, where it's manufactured here in Nigeria, that is quality, easily accessible and affordable for these educators. Now, what is our key metrics? We are not just only based in Nigeria, but we are also spreading across 19 countries and the continent. We have 5,000 educators already on board our e-learning platform. We also have a community network, both offline and online. Today, our train the trainer model has increased educators by 6% as at 2020. Today, we are open to investment. We would like to calling for Yeah, we missed the end of her presentation. Amanda, we cannot hear you anymore.
To set up quality for-STEM centers that can offer hands-on to build the first hardware makerspace for educators, boarding industrialists to ID.
Yeah, she's cut off. Hi, I'm so sorry about this. What we can do is that Amanda could send us a video afterwards, and maybe then Emmanuel could send her some feedback in writing via email, so she doesn't miss on this opportunity. I'm so sorry. Okay. I'm going to talk to her after we finish this, so we can arrange this details. So technology sometimes not that reliable. But okay, let's move on to our next presenter, Tamara.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, let me share the screen. Please let me know if you can see it.
Yes.
Wait. There. It's already on full screen, right?
Yes, now it is.
Yeah, perfect. So hello, everyone. I'm Tamara, and I'm the CEO of Meta Protection. And
Hi.
today I will
Hello,
introduce you
folks.
something. I think Amanda, it's already on that, but I will introduce you something that is revolutionizing the world of medical protection. So, while we confine ourselves at home for fear of being infected, doctors are working harder than ever, and numbers are growing every day. And they are increasingly exposed in order to take care of COVID-19 patients. And in doing this work, they need to be safe with protective equipment. And the main problem is that this clothing is expensive and scarce. Imagine this. In a single day, a doctor needs 4 sets of biological protection equipment. They change their masks every 3 hours and their gloves every time they attend a different patient. This is translated in 4 kilos of waste derived for their work. And this is why the medical industry is the largest generator of solid waste. So tell me, how many pandemics are we facing? Because virus and pollution are among them. And this is why Meru was born. We are the producer of sustainable medical apparel that innovates while protecting health personnel, optimizing availability and costs. We have a series of garments that are recyclable, easy to disinfect, that provide a high barrier protection and have the relevant certifications. But the most important thing is that they can be used for up to 50 washes without losing their properties. Thanks to the technology that our fabric has, which compared to the disposables can save up to 25 kilos of garbage for each of our equipment. And in the last few months, our R&D team has been working on the development of a new fabric that can be used for twice as the one we already had. So our process also carries an accurate monitoring process of the product through NFC technology, and this allows users to have the confidence of the use and us the control of the useful life in the real time. And well, speaking about potential customers, the market is huge. But in the first stage, we're focused on Mexico, where according to the Ministry of Health, more than 500 million pieces of equipment were needed to protect doctors last year. And so far, based on clients already closed, the current negotiations and new initiatives to increase our funnel, we estimate that we will sell more than 1 million garments by the end of the second year and have our break-even point in month 11. And our sales strategy to achieve this objective is divided in 2 stages. The first one is with our sales team, that we are targeting public and private institutions which are willing to close contracts in the short term. And on the other hand, we are working with our marketing team to implement initiatives that allow us to discover leads and increase the sales funnel. And now, let me speak about the economic benefit for our customers, because that's the important thing. Our selling price for our product is $100, and a large hospital consumes more than 3,000 million pieces of equipment per year. So with us, they can save 90% of the cost. and then use that money to save more lives, beyond the impact that this will generate in the reduction of waste. But hey, Meru is not longer just an idea, it's a reality. Today, more than 6,000 pieces of equipment have been delivered to health professionals in different parts of Mexico, impacting more than 2,000 doctors in the last few months. And something that fills us with pride is that our clothing has already been used for surgeries in operating rooms. And as a result of our work since our foundation, we've been finalists in 1 different competitions and incubation programs to Latin America, like Innovation of the Year for Santander Entrepreneurships, and recently receiving the certification as a social enterprise. And it's the same reason why several media have replicated our work, highlighting the impact of the Meru movement in the field of sustainability and health. But all of this is not possible without a good team. We currently have a number of talent who trust and work every day in the growth of Meru, and we have incorporated some special profiles that believe in the project and have helped us to become stronger as a social business. So our vision is to have better protection, but with less waste. And it's the work we want to build with you. And this is why we have a series of expert advisors in the industry, as leading medical specialists in private and public sectors, also tech leaders, and are helping us to better understand the market and improve our products every day. So far, we achieve our goals with a minimal investment, but however, we are starting a process to reach $500,000 and $1 million in a seed round. And with this, we plan to increase our production and to reach more customers and also invest in further developing tech. So we expect to sell more than 200,000 pieces of equipment during this year. So that's approximately $20 million. So we are part of the solution to the environmental pollution, but also part of the sustainable change that the world needs. So please join the Meru movement. So thank you very much. And I'm open to your questions right now.
Thank you, Tami. Great presentation. Dan and Manu, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Tam. I think creo que ya hemos hablado antes, so thank you and congratulations again. I see that some things have changed, and it's great to hear some traction. I think you've gotten, and I think where you're at, I think the ask is amazing, and I think it's a very clear and compelling story and opportunity around something that, in my mind, won't change per se. It might change, like the need for the clothing, blah blah, and then just changing the way we perceive and the way we go at it, which is much more sustainably and responsibly, if you will. I think that in that sense, I think it's, as in housing or as in food, regrettably, it looks like the demand is infinite in that sense. So, which is good for business, not so great for what it is. But my question is around, I don't know if you put it on the PPT, like, who's your competition? Like at the moment, where's your competitive advantage? Beyond, as I understand, beyond the sustainability aspect of it, how are you being able to compete with whoever's out there at the moment? Is someone doing something similar? And how, will you edge them out or sort of like beat them, or at least gain market share and share that market, if you will?
Yeah, of course, I can share with you this. We not only have these competitors that are making something similar than us, we have also DuPont, 3M that are working on this type of equipment. We already received some good news from them that want to take our project and make them yours, but we are a social business, so we're not in it. So basically, we have a series of competitors that are working for develop some of this tech because they know that it's the future. Actually, because some countries like in Europe are working to increase like the legal advice for it and making like you have to be sustainable and you have to make a lot of effort on that. So right now, how are we working? It's that we are reaching out to each hospital here in Mexico. We already have some contracts with the biggest hospitals in here, but that's the reason why we need an investment, because we know that if we increase our funnel and we increase our production, we can accommodate all the market and don't have any leads to the other ones. But right now, the first and the most important thing is that our competitors doesn't have the technical issues or the pattern of it. So we have like this advantage from them, but also we know that we have to improve. So that's why we are continually having some MVPs and having other efforts and also working on that, so we are not leaving behind.
Looking at your sales pipeline in the hospitals, how long's the sales cycle from the time that you're introduced to a hospital until they purchase product? And how much product does a typical hospital purchase? And sorry to have so many questions, but they're all kind of connected. And then the last one, the current product that they're using, they use a lot of it. Your product, sustainable. So how frequently will a hospital be purchasing your product?
Perfect. So thanks for it. Right now, our sales cycle, it's about taking us a month and a half, like 45 days of it, because we have the first connection, we have the lead, we start the process of it, but most of them we have directly contact with the sales director. So in this case, we are having like this impact right now, but we know that in the future we can reduce it to less than that. And in this case, right now, our equipment can be used for that amount of time, 45 days in a row, because we know that the hospitals need it every day. So each day for each of our equipment that can be used 50 washes, it means 50 days of use. So basically right now it's very simple, but we know that we can have a better understanding of it thanks to our app. So that's basically what we're doing. I don't know if I understand the question, if I answer it, or if you have another one, so I can answer for it.
No, that's great. Thank you.
So, sorry, do you have one more minute, Marcela? Tamara, I think the other question for me is, I think I asked it last time around as well, which is from a procurement perspective, I think, but also like on Dan's perspective, you know, I'm assuming some of these hospitals might be public. And so when it comes to contracts and procurement, like the sizes are huge. So if you get one, then, you know, it's no matter a thing, but that also means that the hoops you have to jump are, anyways, I wouldn't be surprised if it's like some sort of like corruption, kickbacks, that kind of thing, at least from where I'm from Argentina, it will get to be very common. But beyond all that, I'm more concerned, I think I mentioned it before as well, from a process perspective, from like operational perspective. I'm assuming that today that's a very well-oiled machine in which I get rid of, it gets picked up, and so on and so on and so on. This is amazing in itself in that it provides something different, which is like, hey, let's not trash so many things, let's reuse them, but that kind of thing. But in my mind, that demands that we change the operations of a hospital, which I'm assuming are pretty complex to change and to take to that mind frame. To the washing, the tracking of like 50, you know, how do I know if I use this once or 30 times? Will I have like an ID or whatever, that kind of thing maybe. And the third thing is, I'm assuming because of I think last time you shared some cost economics of how this was more cost effective because of the multiple uses. Sure, but in my mind, that also means like I probably have to spend much more upfront as opposed to, you know, something that's like goes month to month. So do you plan at all on like financing some, maybe not large contracts, but maybe smaller contracts that might have to have a high spend for a later save? Because if you do that, in my mind, if you think of like financing smaller operations to save money eventually, that could be an interesting model in itself, if that makes sense. Sorry, that was a lot there.
No, thank you very much for it, because I think you have a really nice perspective. Actually, about what you're talking about the process, when you talked to us and you made us that advice, we started working on it. And that's the reason why we're right now proving a new way to improve our equipment. And we're working with some laundries, so maybe you make it like a subscription model. Sorry for it. And
so you pick it up as well.
Yeah, you pick it up as well.
Yeah.
So then you have all the process. And the way they knew that you only use it 30 times is because you can access, here I have it. I have here the equipment. You access through your phone, you literally reach it out, and they are gonna say you have 30 washes left. So that means that the useful life, it's okay for it. So right now our process and why we're only working with private hospitals is because we know that they already have the laundry process. But we know that in the expansion, and if we want to make it better, we have to improve it. So that's why we have it. And I think that the last one in the cost about the useful life, we also include right now in our comparison, we also include the laundry cost that the hospital has. Even with it, they can save 90% of the cost. So that's already validated. We already have the customers. We already know how they use it, why they use it, and how we can increase that. We also know that thanks to us, they can save some luggage, it's not luggage, some storage costs, because they need less than the other ones, and they can have more more disponibility, that I'm gonna say it in some accessibility better for them.
Availability.
So yeah, so disponibility. So basically that's what we're working. So so basically, I don't know, but I will be really happy if you want to work with us and improve some of our process. So thank you very much. I don't know if you are okay with it.
I mean, I don't remember if we connected through LinkedIn, but happy to connect again. I don't know if I can commit to something at the moment, but definitely happy to like share a bit more. And as I said, I think you have a fantastic sort of product and clear sort of path to success. I just wonder if like those hurdles that need to be cross to like start getting some traction are there, and yeah, if I can help, again, it's not my area of expertise, this one, but I'd love to be able to support if I can in some way, shape or form, for sure.
Thank you so much. So Daniel, Benu,
Por favor, a ustedes.
Great, thank you so much to all of you. Fantastic job. Now we have Ignacio from Venezuela.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Marcela. Hi, everyone. Okay, I'm going to share the screen now. Okay, so I want to present to you our organization called Tepuy. But first, Tepuys, where the word comes from, they are tabletop mountains that are specific or unique to Venezuela and some parts of Brazil and Colombia, which are very, very high mountains that go way above any ecosystem that you can find below on the jungle, that have evolved through millions of years and are unique. And they create this experience that it's just spectacular. Like when you reach these high mountains, it's just something unbelievable when you reach there. So on that spirit, we are creating unique experiences online with people that you love. Okay, and I'll get to it in just a minute. What we found is that people crave for amazing experiences, right? And we pay for those experiences. And on the other side, we also saw that celebrities and online influencers aren't monetizing their communities, the people that they already love them. So what we're trying to do is putting both things together. And we found this formula that is creating online experiences, just like climbing a mountain at Tepuy. We're building these experiences with celebrities and influencers. And the result was quite amazing. We started last year and we created a first online event with a chef here in Venezuela. And we sold out. We thought that we were going to get like 30, 40 people, and then 200 people signed up. We had to put a stop because we couldn't handle so many people. And we relaunched a month later, and 200 people signed up again for the second event. We repeated this a few months later with another celebrity. And what we found is that people really loved the idea of learning or enjoying from someone that they're already following. And then we also solved the celebrity problem that they weren't creating products that they couldn't monetize. So in just a few months, we created, with a few 6 chefs, we created these gastronomy and cooking events. And I want to tell you a little bit about how that's translating into what we want to build now. The idea is that there's already millions of people following these celebrities, right? In our case, our beginning, we worked with cooking classes and experiences, and the connection is already made. And when we're going online, we're always looking to have that connection and to learn from the people that we love. We found that with these celebrities. The other thing is creating content that's amazing. Just like that experience of going to a mountain and seeing that beautiful scenery, we're creating very, very high quality content online to make these experiences very, very entertaining. We mixed three things. We mixed the celebrities, we mixed the video content, so recipes in the case of chefs, but it could be any type of online content. And then we created interaction and community. So we would build communities on WhatsApp groups, we would build broadcasting channels on Telegram, or we could do live streams with the celebrities on Zoom. So by combining these little products and put like, we could call it a boot camp or an online event, they would be able to share with these celebrities and they would pay for it, which for us was important to be able to sustain the model. So a little bit of the pricing model that we use, our ticket was around $55 and we would keep about a third of the income. The acquisition cost and the marketing return of investment is very low because the celebrities are advertising through their own account. So we're able to reach, for example, in the case of one of the chef celebrities that we worked with on December, he had 1 million followers. So in the minute that that person put a post that he was going to do an online event with us, already like 5,000 people signed up for getting to know what they wanted to do. So it was very, very fast to get that traction into the online events. And now what we realized is that we started off with cooking, which is a very entertaining activity. Now we want to work with really famous artists. And we already have, let's call it like a roster of 4 celebrities, 4 artists that are singers and comedians. And we want to do like a mini series, a mini documentary for a 20 million community. So combined, those 4 celebrities can reach a lot of people. And we think that by just bringing in 50,000 of them, we can create a 1 million revenue. So that's only in a 4-month roadmap. Obviously, what we want to do is start creating a lot of content to be able to sustain ourselves like a subscription model, like you would see on Netflix or like you would see on learning platforms like Masterclass, where celebrities are giving something additional than just a movie or a series. It's something that has to do with purpose. Our team, we are 3 co-founders. Axel is here in the call, so he can join in the questions a little bit later. But we also have Irene, and all of us, we've worked in social enterprises and social companies before that we've started on our own. And we have a lot of background in music and video production. So in terms of the content and the processes, we really have that covered. And additionally, we have a couple of investors and a team that is being able to create that connection with those users that are already engaging again with these celebrities, but now we're packaging in a little product that they can sell through social media as well. We're looking to create this $1 million event or mini series that we want to do. We need 350,000 to pay for the production, to operate the online event, and to create a marketing campaign. So it's very, very specific. It's very straightforward what we're looking for right now, because we believe if we can do this once, in 4 months, in this coming 4 months, we can then replicate it and do a lot more in the coming year. So it's really a model that is based on replicating these online experiences and creating like, like going to these mountains and doing like spending a week going up a mountain and going down, and then having that experience, repeating that many times. The impact that this creates, we found 3 things. The first is that we're evolving the concept of creating 8 concerts like that you can have for specific themes. Now, by working online, we can reach a lot more people in a lot less time, and without having to do the protocols of creating very, very big sort of live concerts like you would see on Global Citizen or the likes. The second one is that they can be purpose-driven. So for the people, they are enjoying something that they know that it's going to have an impact for a specific purpose. And for the celebrities, it also highlights their motivation to participate, which is a struggle when we're trying to connect with these celebrities, is that they can find that purpose as well. And just in terms of numbers, by just putting 5% of the income of each of the events, this year we can have a $50,000 fund to work on our local impact. And next year, if we can do 8 events, a bit bigger, we can already have a big fund to start creating local impact. So the idea is that these events start growing and you have dozens and dozens of mountains that online events you can have on cooking, you can have on entertainment, you can have on sports, and having all these celebrities have these online events, and people, which are communities that are already created, can make this ecosystem grow and grow every single event. So thanks so much for listening. This is Tepui.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you so much. Now with Manu and Dan for feedback.
Thank you, Ini. Congrats on the imagery of like the presentation. In that sense, is pretty unique. I guess I would expect it from a sort of like a content creation team, but anyways, it's really, it does stand you out. I'm going to go to the bone of this for me. Sorry, I tend to be quite blunt. Can you repeat to me again, what's the impact of this?
Yes. So the impact is we're creating purpose-driven events. So for each event, in the previous ones, in the examples that we did, we created, it was on cooking, right? And what our model is, what we're trying to do with this, we have these 4 celebrities, and I can't say what the theme of the event is going to be, but the idea is to be able to create sort of awareness, because we're trying to, not just an entertainment event, it's not just like a series or like a fiction movie, but it's trying to be to get together that team to create awareness on the topics that they're going to be talking about. And also we're going to use money from the event, from the sales of the events and the marketing that is done, to fund the projects that can support those themes.
Okay, that to me was a bit unclear and lost in the presentation. When I look, I'm in impact investing because I want to make an impact more than I want to make money. If not, I would just do something else. And so I want to see that in the DNA of a company, in an organization, of a social enterprise, in the DNA of an organization. So that, because the incentive in my mind of this world will always be around not creating as much of an impact, or the incentives will be to divert a bit from that. So if an organization that's starting up doesn't have it in their DNA or very clear, then that to me is a no-go. And that, as it translates also to impact measurement. Purpose-driven to me seems a bit wishy-washy. What's the SDGs impact? How are we supporting what we know are the global challenges of our generation or of our communities? If that's not very clear to me, the impact's not very clear. And if the impact's not very clear, you lose me. And so I would want to see that a bit more compelling. Having said that, I think it's quite compelling that the use of celebrities and communities, and like, I think it's quite unique and superb. And I think we can all agree that that can be a catapult. And so hats off to that. I think, you know, you're trying to think of like, right, what's the purpose-driven cameo? What's the purpose-driven, I don't know, OnlyFans or, you know, masterclass? Those are the things that I had in my mind. And that's superb, but it's got to be in the DNA. You know, it's going to be deeply ingrained in like how you do business. So I would question that a bit about this presentation. I'm sure your intentions are well intended, but I want to see that in the business model and how you're going to measure it as you grow and as you scale, as you create that content. And a final comment, I would shy away from saying the problem of a celebrity in monetizing. Celebrities don't have problems of monetizing stuff in my mind. They're celebrities. Is there an opportunity there to get some of the monetization into purpose-driven social impact? Sure, and that's what I love to hear. The power of Live Aid, the power of the arts, those kinds of things are definitely deeply ingrained in my mind. So I'll try and like leverage or change the language around that and say, how can we, sure, leverage celebrities, some of the monetization issues with using some of that into solving social challenges and problems. That you have me there, because I think that's could be super interesting. Sorry, that was a lot, Ini, but congrats again on the initiative.
Thanks, Manu.
Going off of those comments, so I know the team at Global Citizen really well. You know, I've worked with them for the last 12 years or so. The problem from my perspective that celebrities have is which brands they are willing to align themselves with, and they are very risk adverse. And so you will see every celebrity and their cousin aligning with the Red Cross. You will see very few celebrities willing to extend their brand to cutting edge innovations that could have a incredible impact, but are unproven. And so the risk looking at celebrities and impact is celebrities are wildly selfish with extending their brand to meaningful solutions. And like, that's a meaningful thing to bridge. If you look at Rihanna, you know, she cares deeply about the Caribbean, but she's not willing to work with any of the nonprofits in the Caribbean. They're all too small. Her team's not comfortable with the size. But Rihanna always talks about how much she cares about the people there and how much she wants to do. And so you have this disconnect between the celebrity and their team. And like, this doesn't resolve that disconnect there. This also doesn't necessarily resolve the disconnect of the vetting process of why they'd be willing to extend their brand to an unknown group. And I do think there's actually very meaningful opportunities there. So this does feel like a great moneymaker, where candidly, you're using impact as a marketing angle. And it doesn't feel like impact is in the core DNA, and maybe that's an unfair assessment on my part. But I do think there are meaningful problems connecting celebrities to impact. I think this skirts the issue without cutting into why this hasn't happened in a meaningful way.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's a good point in terms of what we found, for example, in celebrities, the ones that we worked for and the ones that we're going to work for this event that's coming up, is that they are experimenting a lot in terms of what happened after COVID. Many of the, especially singers and artists that had to do events, that those get canceled, is that they are trying a lot and they're experimenting a lot. And in the sense that what we brought to the ones that were chefs, for example, and celebrities, and the ones that are going to be now singers, is that they didn't have yet like a package deal. I mean, they're doing tons of stuff and they're trying a lot of things, and many are trying different venues. Like you had like a Joe Balvin doing things with Fortnite, for example, and creating like characters, and so they're experimenting a lot of things. At least from the conversations that we've had at the level of, say, maybe not a Rihanna level, but just one level below, is that they are looking to create that connection with their community through new products. So that's why we're experimenting on that level. It is true that in terms of what you mentioned on the impact, is how can we, and we know, and we've been warned a lot in terms of going to, every time we try and go to higher level profiles, is how the personality comes into whatever product you might want to do, and how different they are from each other, and how conservative, let's say, or how that can be a big problem. We are trying to figure that one out in terms of how to work through PRs or people that are very close to these celebrities, so they can join and believe that this has that meaning or that impact that we can take. But I like a very good point that you make, and we will consider improving and creating that connection more clear, for sure. So thanks so much.
Great, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ini, and the judges for the questions as well. Wow, now we're getting to the final moments of our demo day. I'm going to ask Bea from our team to open the survey here, the poll, so our audience can also choose who they think delivered the best pitch today. And I'm going to give an extra minute for the judges to finish their feedbacks as well. I'm excited to see who the winner is. Okay. I can't see the poll. Have you activated it?
Yes. I think it's because you're a host, so you cannot.
Okay, so Bea, you let me know once we have.
Yeah, we have 31 from 49 participated, so we still need some time.
Okay, so a few more seconds. And I'm going to ask our judges to announce the winner. So I'm going to send you in the private message who won. I already know. Okay. I'm going to ask Manu, I'm going to send you the winner from the judges, and then Dan can announce the winner from the audience.
Marcy, I think while this meantime, you can announce the prizes.
Oh, yes, perfect.
That's on me. Thank you.
Yes, I'm going to, no, I was just going to say that Fernando will be announcing our prizes. We have very special prizes for the winners. So Fernando, please, Fernando is our brand and comms manager. So please, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Besides being the brand and comms manager at Yunus and Youth, I'm also a partner at Kinkas Branding. We're a branding and creative design firm based in Brazil. We have a creative team of nearly 20 people now. Some of them work exclusively with us. We're going to we're going to give very special things to the winners today. The first prize is a brand design or redesign in case they want to redesign or redesign their brands. In case they don't, it could be any visual identity, packaging, or art direction project. That could go as far as 30 to 40 hours of creative work. The second prize is a brand voice and strategy consultancy comprising from 20 to 30 hours of work. It could be anything from brand communication strategy or brand strategy overall, regardless if it's for the national market of any of the brands or global strategy.
Amazing. We have the results. Oh my God. This is exciting. Okay, so I'm going to give the floor to Manu let's do first. I don't know who goes first. Who wants to go first? Dan, please announce our winner.
Yeah, so the winner for the audience choice is Kekalove Adaptive. So very well done.
Awesome. Congratulations, Mohammed. Mohammed told me he had to leave. So we will be telling him the results of this demo day. But thank you so much. And now for the winner for the judges selection. Manu, please.
Yeah, it is my pleasure to say that the winner from the judges' perspective was Medu Protection Tamara. Congratulations. So yeah. Very well done. And very well done to everyone. It was every time I'm here, it's just amazing. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you to all the presenters. You all rock. I am a huge fan of these entrepreneurs, and let's continue working together to improve your businesses and get us far. And thank you so much, Manu and Dan. I think you were the best judges we could have. You made excellent points, and I think you gave great feedback. So I think everybody won here. So thank you all so much. With this, we close this session. So it was a great pleasure having you with us. Thank you again to Goldman Sachs and to our amazing mentors. And we hope to see you all again soon. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.